All right. Let's start out by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kudash. Welcome to another live lesson. Name of this one is just various topics dated 10/23/2024, which I got to fix that. I got exclamation uh, point for the number one. I must have hit the caps by accident. So Lord's will I could change that. Dated November 23rd, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. Now this morning when I woke up, pretty much I was thinking about, how these like so-called lawyers and, businessmen, um, you know, dentists and these so-called, like business people that are somewhat mild-mannered, speak to everybody. Hello, how you doing? How's your day? Blah, blah, blah. How they're, going to turn from that into pretty much, you know, desperation, because it's one thing when people are desperate. Let's look up the word desperate real quick. Desperate, having lost hope, moved by despair or utter loss of hope, suffering extreme need or anxiety. So pretty much when people become desperate, they tend to do, irrational things. So I would just meditate, just a basic, everyday individuals that will speak to anyone and everyone and are mild mannered and all that. Even they're going to turn into pretty much into savages during this time of need. I was watching a series of videos this morning. I was watching the Elder Makama's video. I watched Elder Karatazar from the Vegas camps video. The recent videos they did. I watched some of the Elder Karatazaba's video. I watched also Elder Manatazakba's video that he just did. And like I said, I can't remember all. There's so many videos going up. It's like your head sometimes is spinning. But I'll run them down to you right now. The elder from Vegas camp, this the rich man mentality is what will cause a lot to, I guess the word is suffer. I was watching some of the response to Guerrilla Hebrews response to Elder Karatazaba. I was watching the Elder Malcolm's video, This Wicked House Current Rulership is Completely Divided. I was watching the Florida Maquis, Classified Intelligence now reveals U.S. I think it's military something. I was watching the, young elder or up and coming elder Barack Obama out of the New York camp. Polygamy is referenced throughout the New Testament. I was watching some of that. I was watching the brother from. I watched their whole video. The brother from Men of Valor, Jersey, U.S. authorities authorizes biometric run sea camps in Gaza. And then I was watching the Elder Manatazakba's video, Bishop Nate Deliverance by the Name, Not the Commandments. So outside of just meditating on how things are going to become very desperate and, coupled with those different videos, whatever the Spirit gives me, to go into, I'm going to go into. But another thing I was meditating on when I watched the brother from the Men of Valor camp in Jersey, was, this whole system that's going online. He was going into how they're mandating certain things over there in the Gaza Strip to repair people's homes, but it's going to come at a cost. And, like the scriptures say, matter of fact, let's get that miracles in the book of Revelation. It's in the book of Revelation, chapter. Let's go straight to the point. Matter of fact, let's read the Revelation 13:14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. And this is one of the things, the majority of the people on the planet are going to be deceived into taking the MOTB. And it's going to be like a miraculous thing. It's going to be something that's going to help you, whether it's medically or whether it's, to help you with better memory or help you, whatever the case may be. It's going to be done through deception of these miracles. It says, which he had power to do on the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which is the Roman Empire, the same way it was set up. It's not talking about no goddamn picture of Caesar Borgia, which had the wound by a sword and did live, which is what? The Roman Empire. Caesar Borgia was not around during the time of the Roman Empire. All right. So that image was around back then, but it wasn't Caesar Borgia. It was Serapis Christus, and that was before the Roman Empire. See, the picture of Caesar Borgia didn't exist till the 1400s, mid to late 1400s, actually the late 1400s. So that's not talking about back then. That was talking about the system of the Roman Empire being implemented here in America, Babylon the Great, which is the new Rome. All right, now let's jump to Revelation 19 and 20. And the beast was taken, the beast being, all 7 major empires of Esau rolled up into one, which is today would be the EU and NATO. It says, and with him the false prophet, which is the Roman Catholic Church. And also this beast is talking about America too, being caught up in there. It says, and with the false with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that have received the MOTB. See, so with these miracles and these different agencies and their different religious systems, they're going to use that to deceive the people into taking the microchip. All right. It says, and them that worshiped his image, which is what? Being all into the system of America, democratic system, this whole beast system of Esau, which is mirrored just like ancient Rome was. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire burning with brimstone, which is the destruction here in America. The land of Israel is also going to go up in flames, and we don't know what other parts of the earth may get hit by a missile or two here and there. But the major destruction and deliverance is here in America, and one of the major parts of the world that's going to also be destroyed is the land of Israel. Now, let's just pick out a couple of these words and then take it from there. So let's go to the word deceiveth, which should be planao. Yep, planao. It says to cause to stray, to lead astray, lead aside from the right way. And see, when we go out there and we teach, for a long time, plantation Christianity has been taught and has warped the minds of Jake. The Lord, made a way for Jake to get the right message of the doctrine of the gospel, but yet you have these wacky-tacky Christians trying to steer Jake back into captivity under that plantation Christian mentality, and you see it happening even to this day. You got your vocabs and the so-called apologists, and the main people that are behind vocab is who? These goddamn Negroes, Jake. You don't have, the Edomites that get with vocab, eventually they leave his ass because they see he's full of shit. But the main people that's helping is this demon, this devil, Jake. It's crazy. But that goes to show that those are the same individuals that was helping Antiochus Epiphanes and were helping the Romans and so on and so forth, and were helping the other nations fight against their own people. It says to go astray, wander, roam about, metaphorically, to lead away from the truth. And that's what they're doing, leading you away from the truth. And you even have Israelites that know that they're Israelites that are teaching this word, this doctrine from one west, that are also leading you astray also. It says to lead into error. Because anyone that takes that MOTB, the micro C-hip, is going to be destroyed. That is an error that you do not want to make. Because the scriptures, even though the scriptures say you could repent from any sin, that's one scripture that it says once you take it, or one thing that once you take it, that's it. You finish. And that thing begins to infuse with the tissues in your hand or your head or whatever the case may be. And it's not so easy to remove as it is to put in. To deceive. Right, now let's look up the word deceive. Deceive. Why can't you just give the fucking definition? All this fucking bullshit. To persuade someone that something false is the truth. And that's exactly what they do. To persuade someone that something false is the truth. And that's why the scriptures say that they shall be seducing spirits. You know, that's going to cause many to go astray. Matter of fact, let's get that. 1 Timothy. And even those that at one time taught this same truth are going to go astray. 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly. Let's look up, matter of fact, let's look it up in the NLT. Now the Holy Spirit tells us clearly, see, expressly, clearly, that in the last time some will turn away from the true faith. Because you have the fake faith and you have the true faith. They will follow. So in other words, they would be on the right path, but then they will turn, they will veer off. They will follow deceptive spirits and teachings that come from demons. See, they should have a picture of vocab on here. And a big ass, I don't know if it'll fit on the page though. That big ass crocodile head he got. So let's see what this one says. The Spirit speaketh, the Spirit clearly says that in the latter times some will abandon the faith, which you see happening, and follow deceiving spirits and things taught by demons. Salaki. Oh man. You should have a picture of vocab if his head fit. It says, now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter time some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Now let's look up this word seducing. Because it's alluring. And that's why the scriptures say that the 144,000, they were virgins, because they were not corrupted by the false philosophies which are compared to women. All right, to wicked women. Planos, which is deceive. Of a certain affinity, roving as a tramp, an imposter or misleader, see? Which is what? A false prophet, seducing. Now, what does it mean to seduce? To persuade or trick someone into doing something by making it very attractive, see? Nowadays, you have to seduce students to learn, let me see, entice someone into sexual activity, right? Because it's either you're going to either be sexual physically or sexual spiritually, all right? Because we're married, the Lord is married to us, Yahweh is married to us. So if we deal with anything else outside of this truth, then guess what? We become adulterers against the Most High. Spiritual, which is fornication. All right, which fornication is adultery, whether it's physical or or spiritual. So let's go back to seduce. All right, so let's go back. Is there anything else in here? So seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. Meaning it's once you go astray from the Lord, and if you're not one of the elect, and that demon gets on you, or them 7 demons get on you, 7 extra demons, then you're seared with a hot iron. There's no coming back from that. The word seared is causteriazo, which is where you get cauterized. When you cauterize something, is you searing it. You're putting a stamp on it. It says to mark by branding. See, to branded with their own consciences, whose souls are branded with the marks of sin. If Bishop reads this, see, told you the mark was sin. Who carry about with them. This means that you're charged with sin. That's what it means, marks of sin. Who carry about with them the perpetual consciousness of sin. See, seared. Let's see when you sear something. Let's see if something comes. Let's see what comes up. Yeah, I figured that was going to come up. Sear definition. Burn or scorch the surface of something with a sudden, intense heat. That's them seducing spirits. Okay? So their conscience is seared with a hot iron. So they wholly convinced in their mind that they're going the right way, in the right path. So let's go back here. Planao, to deceive. So let's read this again, and then we're going to get another precept off here. Revelation 19:20. And the beast was taken, and with them the false prophet that wrought miracle, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him. Now let's go to the word miracles. The words for miracles is Simeon or Simeon, a sign, mark, token. That by which a person or thing is distinguished from others and is known. A sign, prodigy, portent, an example, an unusual occurrence, transcending the common course of nature. Right. And what would that be? That would be, you see this man, he was blind, now he could see because he got this micro C-hip behind his eyes. You see this man, he couldn't walk. Now he can walk because, they infuse his spine from his brain because the neurons that were not connecting through the rest of his spinal cord, now through these electrodes, and this current, this electric current that's going through his spine is allowing him to be connected and be able to walk. And whenever you watch these futuristic movies, everything is always digital and everything is always, connected through a micro C-hip. Like the movie Atlas, they had those suits, and those suits could only be accessed properly when it linked up to the Neuralink in the person that had it. So everything is going in that direction. All right. So the brother Men of Valor, he was reading an article from I wish he would have put it in the brothers, they don't be doing that though. They don't put the links in the description box. But the article reads: U.S. authorizes CIA mercenaries to run biometric concentration camps in Gaza Strip. All right. And he was reading some of the article. And pretty much that's what they what they plan on doing. You run into a situation, you got hard times, you lost everything. Well, if you take this device No, it can make it can make your life easier. And it is a thing of convenience. Elder Pastor mentioned that years ago. He said the one thing about the MOTB, the micro CF, is going to be very convenient. But convenience, doesn't get you salvation. Because when the scriptures speak about, let me see, two priests are coming to mind. Hopefully I can remember both of them. Matter of fact, there's another one. All right, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. And it's the same message over and over again. When it speaks about this time of trouble that's coming, nothing is like it. Let me see, the elder put a link. Okay, he brought it. Oh man, this you brought us. It says a private intelligence corporation billed as Uber for war zones is preparing to create what Israel hopes will be the model for supplanting Hamas rule in Gaza. And it goes into it. So you brought us, and you sisters out there, you could click on that link and it'll give you the article. Tuwara, elder. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. So everything that points to that time of trouble is always a great time of trouble, desperation. It's not going to be anything like this ever again. There's never been a situation like this, and never will it ever be again. It says, and at that time, which we're going to read in Daniel, shall that people be saved, those that are written in the book. It says, it is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it, because the elect will be delivered from the clutches of Esau. Hot damn. All right. Just one of my favorites. Isaiah 59 and 19. It says, so shall they fear the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai from the west. Uh-oh. What happened to Bishop? No, it's because the power is in the commandments. No, the power is in the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it, and it's safe. Now, do we keep the commandments? You damn right we keep them to the best of our ability. But that's not where the power lies. The power lies in the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and coupled with, doing the best that you can and keeping the commandments. That's a trifecta right there, or a combination, and ultimately being a part of the elect. It says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. All right. So when these devils roll, the Lord is going to lift up a standard against them. Some type of divine intervention that's going to, be between the elect and Esau and his militaries coming against Jake, the police states and all that. There's going to be some sort of intervention. And even the ones that get caught up and be brought to these, detention centers, there's going to be some sort or some form of divine intervention, whether a chariot just pulls up and pulls them out of there, or whether an angel comes and breaks them out, or whether, the Lord puts a spirit on one of the guards to be in a trance and open up the doors and let the elect out, or he may be convinced because he may be a part of the elect, is just caught up in that situation, and then the Spirit works on his mind and he opens up the gates and let Jake go with them. We don't know how it's going to go down, but we know that when Esau rose and brings this great insurrection against those that fear the Lord, that there's going to be some form of divine intervention. that's going to, no, it's supposed to be, I think it's 2 R's. Yep. So there's going to be some form of deliverance. So it says insurrection, a violent uprising against an authority or government. Now, this insurrection is going to be against the people of the Lord. As we read in the book of Second Ezra chapter 16, it's going to be a great insurrection. So it's going to be a violent uprising against those that fear the Lord. That's the main, problem on the planet, are the Israelites. And not just the Israelites in general, but the Israelites that believe in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. That's like the main problem. Those are the ones that are holding the progress of Esau back, in their eyes. That's the last vestige of hope, the last stand, the last bastion of hope. Okay, so let's go back. So we're done with that. Jeremiah, let's read this again. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So let's look up this word trouble. The word there is tazarah. Tazarah. Adversary, adversity, affliction, anguish, distress, tribulation, trouble. Straits. Now the word straits here is spelled different than going straight ahead. Strait is a comparatively narrow passageway connecting two large bodies of water. That's why they call it the Straits of Hormuz or the Straits of, blah, blah, two large bodies of water. Isthmus be my lucky day. Inside joke. A situation of perplexity or distress. So there's going to be a great time of perplexity and distress. And that's the time when the Lord is going to step in, and deliver the elect. So let's go to the next one, Daniel 12:1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble. See, once again. And when the older gentleman from Jamaica asked the Bishop Nathaniel about this scripture, Bishop Nathaniel said, nope, there's not going to be no time of Jacob's trouble. So the guy said, is everything going to be everything? And then, so basically world is going to go on like as it was. And then the Lord was going to pull up and deliver deliver Jacob, something along those lines, what he said. He basically said there was going to be no time of Jacob's trouble. But then he turned around with his oil can Harry self and spun the narrative and said, no, if you listen to what I said, moron, I said that nothing was happening yet. No, you didn't. You told the man straight up, no. You're a liar. You're a straight up liar. You should have just admitted, yeah, I said it. I didn't see it back then, just like I didn't see the Cornelius thing. I would have had more respect for you. Anyways, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time that people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. Now all of a sudden, they're on fire to do videos about this great time of tribulation. Watch, the closer we get to the end, and the more things are evident with the micro-CHIP, you're going to have these camps that were denying it, saying that the micro-CHIP is the MOTB, and that there's going to be a time of Jacob's trouble. Or the time of Jacob's trouble, it ain't gay no more. You're going to see, man. That shit pisses you off, but, hey, like the Apostle Paul said, whether in pretense or in sincerity, Yahweh shall preach, and I therein do rejoice. Because at the end of the day, truth is truth. No matter if it comes from someone that's deceptive or someone that's sincere. Matthew 24:21, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Why? Because it's going to be serious, hard times coming. And if you are not a part of the elect, you won't be in the Lord's good graces to be protected. You see? And that's why it's important, to stay connected, in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Let me see something. Okay, for some reason. Let me see something. Okay, that's why. Okay, that's why. Son of a bitch. Fucking thing, man. Anyways. All right, so let's move on. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read some of these precepts you brothers got on the comment board because I guess I had it on pause on the computer. Oh boy, this fucking computer, man. Anyways, Jeremiah 14:15. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power concerning the prophets that prophesy in my name, and I sent them not. Yeah, because Bishop Nathaniel and them, they know the name of the Lord. Even though they don't push it much, every once in a while they sneak it in there. What, if you listen closely, moron, we were always calling on the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Yet they say, sword and famine shall not be in this land. By sword and famine shall those prophets be consumed. Yeah. Like them individuals talking about that the time of, because Captain Katazar said that the time of Jacob's trouble, that's gay. Jacob's trouble is gay. Well, let's see when that time happens, see if it's really gay, and see what y'all gonna do when that time comes. Jeremiah 28:8, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. Yeah, and this is what's coming. And this is what we're supposed to be speaking about. We're not supposed to be speaking about, being a marriage counselor or a life coach, none of that stupid bullshit. We're supposed to be speaking about the times of the end, things that are coming, the prophecies. The most important prophecy of all times being the micro-CHIP, being the MOTB, explaining to the people what that is, pursuant to the scriptures, and letting Jake know, look, you better not take it. If you take it, you're going to be destroyed. This is what's of importance. Letting them know that the time of Jacob's trouble is coming. Letting them know that society is going to collapse. There's going to be, men that's going to be rolling through in, could be all black, could be military fatigues, could be in regular cop uniforms, grabbing you up, could be in SWAT uniforms, grabbing you up, throwing you in these detention centers, threatening you, and telling you better take this MOTB or take the MOTB if you want things to go back to normal. So you get your UBI, your universal basic income, and you could, get you back, be in a nice apartment, your rent paid for, your food furnished, everything given to you, be in this 15-minute city or wherever the hell they put you. These are things that we're supposed to be speaking about. The wave of the future. Not being no goddamn marriage counselor. We weren't put here to be marriage counselors. We weren't put here to be life coaches. We were put here to tell you the truth, to prophesy, to build you up, to edify you, to feed you with this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, to build you up so that you can be prepared for what's coming. Scripture says, knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. And then it also says, matter of fact, let's get that. In 2 Peter 3. I'm going to go straight to the point, and I may jump around a little bit. 2 Peter 3:11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, meaning what? The heavens, This America is going to be totally wiped out, burnt up by the nuclear missiles, which these devils have that technology now, which mankind never had. I mean, the elements were always here, but the science and the experiments and all the putting of together of all these elements in this vehicle to create such a devastating destruction they've never had that technology ever in the history of man until now. So it says, seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So what things are we supposed to be speaking about? Holy conversations and godliness. Let's see. Let's look up some of these words, man. Because you fucking guys out there playing games. Playing fucking games. The word holy is hagios. Like you have something called hagiography, which is the writings of the saints. Hagios. Most holy thing, a saint. And who are the saints? You got these clown-ass Christians talking about, that everyone can be a saint. No, that's not what the scriptures say. You motherfuckers be adding to the scriptures. You be adding to the scriptures. And then you accuse us of cherry picking the scriptures. No, you cherry pick the scriptures because you cherry pick the scriptures and you bring them out of context. You break them down out of context. That's what that fucking clown that was trying to say that the Lord was condemning, having more than one wife when he brought out the thing about the fornication, the man, committing fornication or adultery, or whatever the case may be. And the other brother was telling him, look, that's not what the conversation was about. It was talking about you couldn't put your wife away. I forget exactly how he put it. And then that devil Christian, that anti-Christian said, yeah, but he could have said there, but the coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's not what the conversation was about. But these devils, they're going to make it say what they wanted to say to justify their bullshit. You see? So Psalms 148:13, let them praise the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, for his name alone is excellent. All right? And that's where that's a stronghold. That's the foundation. Do we keep the commandments? Yes, we do, to the best of our ability. But what is the main crux? The main crux is the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and the message of the gospel. His glory is above the earth and heaven. He also exalted the horn of his people. Who were his people? Who are the people of the Most High? The Israelites. The praise of all his saints, the holy ones, even of the children of Israel. So who are the Israelites? Who are the saints? The children of Israel. A people near unto him, praise ye the Lord. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So now how will we make near to the Lord? By the Lord giving us the law, statutes, and commandments. That cemented the relationship between the Heavenly Father and us. So the law, statutes, and commandments is what made us the holy ones. When it says that, let's go to Deuteronomy. Chapter, what is that? 6, 7. Just lost my train of thought, Salakia. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of all the children of Israel, of people near unto him, praise ye the Lord. Yep. 7 and 6. Deuteronomy 7 and 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. What made us holy? The law, statutes, and commandments. That's what separated us from the other nations. That's why he said, don't do after their manners. That's why he gave us, rules and regulations to follow by, to be governed by, to separate us from the other nations, because the other nations were never given the law, statutes, and commandments. You could read about that in Psalms 147, chapter 19 and 20th verse. And that's why the Lord was so angry with us, because it ain't that we didn't know. It's just that we didn't show, It ain't that we didn't know. It's just that we didn't follow what the Lord said. But there was a whole reason behind the whole thing anyway. You know, there's a reason behind it. You know, for those of you that know, we were supposed to fall. But nevertheless, the law, statutes, and commandments, that is what made us holy. Because the word holy pretty much means set apart from the rest. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. See, they don't want to deal with this. That's why these devils have something called replacement theology, supersessionism, which, you know, they'll say the new Israel. Basically, the old Israelites are done away with, they out the way. But now the believers, no matter what nation you're from, no matter what nationality you are, the believers, that's the church. Now no, it's not. You know, a spiritual Israelite is a physical Israelite. Because you have to be an Israelite first. Then you have to be a part of the elect. As the Apostle Paul mentioned in Galatians. Let's go there. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 16. And as many as walk according to this rule, peace be on them and mercy and upon the Israel of the Most High. And who is that? That is the elect. So not only do you have to be an Israelite, but you also have to be a member of the elect. It ain't just about being the nationality. It's about being a physical Israelite and also being a spiritual Israelite. That's why I said that matter of fact, let's get it. Romans chapter 2. Because these clown-ass Christians try to use this scripture to talk about there's a spiritual Israel too. No, it's not. The spiritual Israel are the physical Israelites. Some of them are spiritual. Some of them are just outward show. Romans 2 and 28. For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, right? It's not just about the show, about the wearing the clothes and the fringes and the border of blue, you know, looking the part. Neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh, right? It's not just looking the part, but he is a Jew or an Israelite, which is one inwardly. So not only do you have to be, you know, present yourself on the outward, but also on the inward. Because the most important is the inward, because the inward is what? That's the inner man, which is the new man, which is supposed to be renewed in the spirit of our minds, because our minds were corrupted. That's why we were aliens from the Commonwealth of Israel at one time, because we fell away. So we had to be brought back. Ephesians 4:22, that you put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, see, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust. So that's what? That's the carnal man. So you're an Israelite, you're in a carnal state of mind, you got to put away that carnal state of mind and now become a spiritual, and your spiritual state of mind, which would make you a spiritual Israelite. So first you have to be a physical Israelite, but become spiritual by putting away the filth of the flesh and the things that we used to do in the past and putting on that new man, therefore becoming a new creature. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 5. Verse 17, therefore, if any man be in Yahushua, Israelite man, he is a new creature, see, new creation. In other words, being an Israelite and changing your ways to become spiritual. Old things are passed away, behold, all things have become new. So now when we become new, we become renewed in our minds. Going back to Ephesians 4:22, that you put off concerning the former conversation, the old man which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. To be an Israelite, but to be a spiritual Israelite. And that you put on the new man, which after the Most High has created in righteousness and true holiness, right? Walking the path that the Lord laid out for us. And that's why we say we keep the commandments to the best of our ability. All right, now let's go back to Romans 2:28. For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, right? So it's not just about the show in the flesh. Because Yahushua cursed them wicked Pharisees and Sadducees out. Said that, that they make the outside of the cup beautiful, but the inside of the cup is filthy. When you walk by them cemeteries, those tombstones look immaculate, look beautiful. The way that they're made out of marble or whatever they're made out of, and then the way that they're etched, they're carved out, everything is pristine. But what's in there? Dead men's bones, rotten corpses, worms, maggots. And that's how they were on the inside, because they never changed the inside, man. So they can never become a spiritual Israelite. They can never be spiritual. That's why it says that the carnal man cannot receive the things of the spirit. For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, changing after the inner man. And circumcision is that of the heart. See, and those Israelite foreigners had their hearts had to be circumcised because they were all into the Greek customs, in the spirit and not in the letter, right? Because what good is it? Here it is, you're rotten to the bone, but the laws backward and forward. You tell people to keep it, but you yourself don't keep it. Matthew 23. And when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Matthew 23:3, go straight to the point. All therefore, whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. Right, because they're telling you the right thing. Keep the law. Yeah, we're supposed to keep the law to the best of our ability. But do not ye after their works. Right, because here it is, they're telling you, keep the laws, teach the laws, preach the laws. But yet they bearing false witness on us, telling people lies, accusing us of things that we don't do, demonizing us for no reason, calling us a bunch of bums. So is that keeping the law? No. They're slandering, bearing false witness, but yet they appear to be righteous. They got the garments on. They go to sleep with their socks with fringes on and border blue on their pajamas and everything. They got fringes and border blue on their towels. They look the part, but they're rotten to the core when you go in there. When you examine them, for they say and do not. See. They'll tell you to keep the laws, but they themselves are not keeping them. Bunch of liars. So Hebrews 2:29, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Right? Because at the end of the day, we ain't doing this to get praise and accolades and and prestige from man. People are fickle. Man could love you one day and the next day call you the goddamn devil. You can find favor in a man's eyes one day and the next day he looking at you like you're a total piece of shit. But the Lord don't flex like that. Depends on what side of the bed the man woke up on. Then everything is distasteful to him. Other days, everyone is great. And the next day, everyone's a fucking demon. So we're not looking for the accolades of men or the praise of men. We're looking for the praise of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Everything we do is for the glory of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. That they get the glory. Yahushai hasn't been magnified on the earth yet. He's being magnified now. When he gets his, then we can get ours. It ain't right for us to get ours now and he hasn't gotten his yet. As the Apostle Paul said, we don't see Yahushua glorified on the earth yet, in so many words in the book of Hebrews. He's glorified in the heavens, We're glorifying him down here, but the world is not bowing to Yahushua yet. So how the fuck you want people to bow down to you when Yahushua ain't get his yet? Now, when you jump back up to the 25th verse, it says, "For circumcision verily profiteth, if thou keep the law. But if thou be a breaker of the law, which the Israelite foreigners were, thy circumcision is made uncircumcision." So you become uncircumcised in the mind. Why don't these clown-ass Christians read this? So here it is, you're a Jew, an Israelite that know you're an Israelite, but you break the law, guess what? You just became uncircumcised. No, but you know that, shut the fuck up. And go sit your ass down somewhere. If you break the law, we're reading it, you become uncircumcised, meaning in your mind. Oh, but it's impossible for a Jew to be uncircumcised. No, it ain't. When they fell away, guess what? Their foolish heart was darkened, as the Apostle Paul mentioned in another part of the scriptures. Because you had the Israelite foreigners that became uncircumcised because generation after generation they were taught to be Greeks, to follow the Greek custom, to speak the Greek language, to eat the Greek, diet, to follow the Greek customs, and so on and so forth. Then it says, "Therefore, if the uncircumcision, which are these Israelite foreigners, keep the righteousness of the law, because the law is not done away with, shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision?" See? So now he can be brought back to the fold. And be what? Restored, or what? Reconciled. One word. That's why back here, after you become a new creature, let's read this again. "Therefore, if any man be in Yahushua, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away, the old man. Behold, all things have become new, and all things are of the Most High, who hath reconciled us to himself by Yahushua Mashiach, and hath given to us the ministry of reconciliation." And when you look up the word reconciled or reconciliation, it goes back to the same word, katalasso, which means to change, exchange as coins for others or equivalent value. That's one. To reconcile those who are at variance. What does that mean? Meaning those that have differences. Those differences, something happened where they had a beef or quarrel to where it separated their friendship. So something has to happen, and sometimes you have to have a go-between to try to speak to both of them and try to come to some terms to come and speak to each other to see if they could mend that relationship that was severed. That's what Yahushua did for us as a mediator. Reconcile something means to be brought back to the good graces or back to the friendship of. If you were never a part of something, you can never be reconciled. Return to favor with, be reconciled to one, to receive one into favor. Bottom line. So, Romans 2:26, "Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law, shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision?" So this is all goes back to the Israelites, who are the what? The saints of the Most High. Going back to Hagios, most holy thing, a saint. So that's our holy conversation, which our conversation or citizenship is in heaven. Philippians 3:20. "For our conversation or citizenship is in heaven, from whence also we look for the Savior, the Lord Yahushua Mashiach." Now, when we look up this word conversation, You're going to notice that it's the word palituma. Palituma. Palit is where you get the word policy or polis or city. Yuma is conversation or citizenship. See, a community, an example, abstractly, citizenship, conversation. So it's a citizenship. And that's why the Apostle Paul spoke about these Israelite foreigners, that they were strangers, alienated from the faith, alienated from the Most High. And now through Yahushua, they have a chance to get back. Ephesians 2:11. Wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh. Why? You were born that way. Because generation after generation, your parents followed the same mistakes that the first Israelites that went into the Greek custom and became uncircumcised followed. Generation after generation. Who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands. Because the Jews in Jerusalem, they knew that these Israelites or these Gentiles or Greeks were Israelites that became uncircumcised. So they counted them as, you unworthy. You're no longer a part of this. That's why they were calling them the uncircumcision or the uncircumcised. That at that time you were without Yahushua, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. Why? Because you were a part of this at one time, but you became alienated. All right, look up this word commonwealth. Get ready to close up. Once again, politeia, which we read polituma, politeia, which is citizenship, concretely a community, commonwealth, freedom. So you could no longer enjoy the citizenship of Israel because you became alienated. See? Citizenship, the rights of a citizen. You didn't have those rights anymore because you became uncircumcised when you started to follow the customs of those nations. Therefore, you were ostracized by the rest of, the Israelites that were there at the time. So at that time, you were without Yahushua, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise. And the covenants of promise were only given to the Israelites, having no hope and without the Most High in the world. So you were doomed. That's what the Lord said. Okay, when you have problems and troubles, go to those guys that you were crying after, the ones that you left me for. Go to them and see if they will help you in the time of your trouble. It says, but now in Yahushua HaMashiach, you who sometimes were far off, because the Lord casted you off, are made nigh by the blood of Yahushua, going back to the covenant, which we are in between the old and the new covenant. The only part of the new covenant that has been established so far is the blood that Yahushua shed on the cross to make that covenant a force. But the covenant is not fully fulfilled because our hearts are not changed, our bodies are not changed, and the laws are not inserted into our inward parts. Because if that was the case, we would not sin anymore. It says, far off are made nigh by the blood of Yahushua, for he is our peace, who hath made both one and has broken down the middle wall of partition between us. Right. He brought back the Jews and the Israelite foreigners back together. And also, he broke down that animosity that the Most High and the anger that the Most High had with us, having abolished in his flesh the enmity, even the law of commandments containing ordinances, for to making himself twain, one new man, so making peace between who? The Heavenly Father and us, that he might what? Reconcile. You can't get away from this word reconcile. You can't get away from the contract, man. The contract says what it says. You simple-minded individuals out there that fall for this shit, that's on you. If you look at what the contract says that only the Israelites are afforded this right, not everyone else. That's why the word reconciled is used. Let me see what it says in the NLT. Together as one body Yahushua reconciled both groups to the Most High, right? Because you had the ones that knew that they were Israelites and the ones that didn't know that they were Israelites. To the Most High by means of his death on the cross, and our hostility toward each other was put to death. Yeah, because the Israelites in Israel had a disdain for the Israelites that had become Greeks. You know, even so much so that the ones that were still keeping the laws that spoke the Greek language, that was just, they had them in disdain. Here it is, he's a Jew, he's keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. The only thing there is a language barrier, but they're still, treating them like shit. Being impartial. So how much more the ones that was straight up on heathen mode and came and preached peace to you which were afar off, yeah, because you were cast off and mingled among the nations, and to them that were nigh, the ones that were still in Jerusalem, that were still following the law, statutes, and commandments. For through him we both have access by one Spirit unto the Father. All right. So don't let these clown ass Christians, swindle you. So 2 Peter 3:11, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be, in all holy conversation and godliness. These are the things we're supposed to be speaking about. The end of the world, the up and coming micro CHIP, which is the MOTB. And why is the world going from, physical, tangible currencies to digital currencies? Why is the world changing to a digital world? What's up with all this technology and why is it going in this direction? These are things we're supposed to be talking about and speaking about. And all these things are going to lead up to the time of Jacob's trouble, because once they get that in place, they're going to corner the market, so to speak, and push everyone else into a corner. And the only ones that's going to be able to partake are the ones that comply. All right. So with that, I pray that you brothers and sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say shalom. I pray that the lesson was edifying. No, it's kind of a little all over the place, but hey, as long as it was edifying, that's all that counts. Shalom.